Justin Hawkins writes again. Good day to you. It is I, Mr. Justin Hawkins. This is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. My YouTube channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell so that you receive the notifications and thus miss nothing. I really can't read these. Today I'm doing comments. I have to take off the spectacles, I'm afraid. Tom King says, how do you cope in the initial stages when you go from being a nobody to a somebody? What is that transition like? Okay, well, there's a temptation to be really ungracious when it first happens for you. I think because if you do it the hard way, which is the way I think, you know, the real bands do it, you know, when you've been in a van for a long time, been ignored for years, struggled and strived and made a lot of sacrifices to get anywhere, the minute something happens for you, it's like, yeah, motherfuckers, about time too. So I think initially it's really like you get a combination of relief, but also, how come it took so long? And then so there's a little bit of skepticism about it as well. It's like you don't really believe in the gatekeepers that have suddenly deemed you worthy of this, you know. Because at the end of the day, the people that break through and make the big impact before the internet was, you know, they were subject to scrutiny by like a handful of people who really held the keys to success, you know. Being a word of mouth phenomenon takes time and it takes a lot of effort. There's a shortcut, and that is, you know, having support in the important positions within the music trade. Without that support, you've just got to work your ass off. And when it finally happens, it can be a little bit like, yeah, now you like me. So I don't know. It takes time to adjust. It's actually pretty traumatic, I would say. You know, if you achieve mega stardom after like a long time of being basically just struggling, that takes it's a lot to deal with, really. And as famously, it nearly killed me, so I might be the wrong person to ask. Simo says, how do you define greatness? Album sales, peer acceptance. So I suppose that question is really, you can, if you don't mind me paraphrasing, Simo, you can ask if it's critical acclaim or commercial success. I don't think greatness is either of those things, actually. I don't know. If you think about like somebody like, who do I think is? I think there's a guy called Eric Nally in a band called Foxy Shazam. I think he's a great frontman, and I think Foxy Shazam have had neither. Well, peer acceptance. They definitely have had peer acceptance. I suppose greatness, I would say, is, I don't know, because peer acceptance, who cares about that? That's reverence. I don't know. I think greatness is probably the ability to exist in a world that I don't know. How do I describe it? I know the stuff that I think's great. Some of it has sold lots of records. Some of it has been sort of critically acclaimed and accepted by peers. I think a band like Jellyfish, for example, that was a great band, and I think everybody who listens to that stuff recognises as sort of great music. But I don't think they ever really set the world on fire in the way that they deserve to. But I still think anybody who's listened carefully to their work would describe them as great. So I don't know. I think there's greatness all around us. Not everybody gets it, but I think the thing that I think defines greatness is longevity, really. Like the longer something resounds and connects, I think that's a good way to express the greatness of a thing, isn't it? Like if it still moves you after 20 years, that's got to be great, hasn't it? Brilliant question, by the way. I don't know if I've answered it at all, really, but it definitely made me think. Cheers for that. Safe Dreams Image Bliss says, could you give some encouragement to people who want to be artists? Certainly. What I would say is this. The dream of being an artist is obtainable by everybody. It comes from humanity, doesn't it? It's informed by the nurture and the nature of our experiences. We all have a unique perspective, and to express that in an artistic way, nobody can stop you from doing it. I think to pursue it as a career is that's an uphill struggle, but it's worth it. As I think Miley Cyrus mentioned in one of her songs earlier on, it is the climb. Those are the most rewarding times, even if you don't feel like you're making any progress. You probably are emotionally. You get to know yourself as an artist. You get to express something that with the pressure of failure and repeated, the crushing despair. That crushing motion can really form your art into something that's just totally bulletproof. And when the time comes, you're ready for it. But it takes perseverance, and it takes, I don't know. You can't just do it as a hobby if you want it to define your existence and also pay for your bills and stuff. I also think there's varying levels of ambition. If your ambition is to live in a big house and drive a fast car, that's great, but you don't have to do art. You could be a hedge fund manager or something like that. If you want to do art, the ambition should be for the art to be fantastic and for you to really be able to stand by it and believe in it, and after you're gone, have it as your legacy, and just go, yeah, I made that. I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks about it because it's awesome and I did it. So if you can feel like that about something that you've created, there is no better feeling in the world. All the lottery winners throughout time will confirm that. It doesn't make you happy. Success doesn't make you happy. Art, on the other hand, is a really effective way to express every emotion, the whole spectrum, and do with it what you will. The world is your oyster. Good luck out there, and never, ever, 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 ever surrender. Willis said, when you sing and play guitar at the same time, which one is your mind focused on? That's a great question. It's difficult to, when there's a part that's sort of syncopated, and it requires a little bit of concentration, the other part suffers. So I think when I'm concentrating on my guitar playing, I sing horribly, and vice versa. So in fact, Willis, the secret to it is focus on a third item that is neither of those things, and then it all falls into place. So you look at somebody in the audience, or you, I don't know, try doing hacky sack at the same time. I don't know. Just you need to distract yourself with a third element, because those two will just fall into place. With enough, if you've practiced each of those parts enough, they'll come naturally when you're thinking about something completely different. That's my advice to you. Hope it helps. Thanks, Willis. Thelma Viaduct. Great. What went down with you and Bono, or was it just media hype? I can understand why people don't like him, but one of his bad days is probably better than all of our good days combined. Yeah, that's true. I love Bono, actually. I met him, really loved him. There was a situation with the Do They Know It's Christmas re-record, and everybody wanted Bono's line. I sang it, Robbie Williams sang it, 3 or 4 other people probably had a go at it. I thought mine was basically in the lead, but U2's management weren't happy with somebody else singing it when Bono was actually contributing to it himself. So in the end, they actually tried to fly in the original Bono vocal from 1984 or whenever it was, and I was like, well, what's the point in re-recording it if you're going to use the same vocal from before? I didn't mind if Bono was going to sing it again, which he did, and everyone lived happily ever after. Connor Bennett said, speaking of T-shirt, a branded shirt for your show would be ironically cool. Yeah, you're probably right, Connor. I'll design something suitably Art Nouveau-ish, futuristic, and get it in some kind of merchandise store thing at your request. Thank you for your suggestion. It's really cool. Lucas Cole says, I'm curious if you like any hip-hop or R&B. If you do, who would you likely listen to? Well, I'll let you into a little secret, Lucas. The first album I ever bought with my own money was Run DMC's Raising Hell. But, that's sort of like a rock rap album, isn't it? And so there was obviously the Aerosmith collaboration on there. But also, there's a lot of stuff where Rick Rubin's playing electric guitar over the music of Run DMC. And it was the electric guitar stuff in that really connected with me, and it made me want to be a guitarist. because obviously I can't rap to save my life. I do poems, but I can't rap. Doesn't mean I don't like listening to it. I really do enjoy it, especially if there's clever words in it. Simon Chadwick, doesn't talking to journalists validate your band as being successful and wanted by people? I don't know. Sorry, I missed your name there. Simon. It really depends. I think there's good and bad in every aspect of every profession, isn't there? There are journalists who are good, and I think there are journalists who are bad. There are journalists who like what you do, and there are journalists who just want to take you down. There are journalists who take the trouble to listen to your oeuvre and try and contextualize it within the narrative of your life and understand where it fits in the wider culture. And there are people who just want to take the piss. And at the end of the day, this is a life, isn't it? You know, this is my life. I choose to spend it talking to you, or I choose to spend it talking to my friends or my loved ones. If I'm going to waste my time talking to some fucking arsehole who can't bother to listen to the record before he's written it off, then I'm not going to be happy. And I don't think anybody else should be either. So, on that bombshell, I thank you for all your comments. Keep them coming and I'll keep responding. Justin Hawkins writes again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notifications bell so that you don't miss anything again, and watch one of these 2 videos. Nice one! See you on the ice!